Hello, I'm Anne, librarian at the Weston Public Library. This morning I hosted a book talk in our cafe area to talk about some books that came out today. The first one is Four Treasures of the Sky by Jenny Zhang. In this book, a Chinese girl struggles to find her place in the 1880s American West after being kidnapped and smuggled, working at a calligraphy school and a San Francisco brothel as anti Chinese sentiment sweeps across the country. This is the type of book that I really love. I didn't get a chance to read this yet, but it's a story that we think we know about the founding of America and the movement westward, told a little through a different lens. There's been some other recent books that are similar to this that came out in the last couple years that I really loved as well. How Much of These Hills is Gold by C. Pam Zhang and The Thousand Crimes of Ming Tzu by Tom Lin. Both talk about the American West through the eyes of Chinese or immigrants or Chinese Americans. And I'm sure this book is going to be one of my favorites of the year. I can't wait to start it. Second, we have Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. If you liked Station 11 but did not read The Glass Hotel, which is the book that the author wrote in between this new one and Station 11, I would say read The Glass Hotel first. I'm about halfway through this book. It's fantastic, but there are some characters that are referenced from The Glass Hotel, and I would say if you are a fan of the author, you may as well just read everything and read it in order. But I can't wait to finish that and tell you a little more about it. Next, we have Summer on the Island by Brenda Novak. This is an early entry in the Beach Reads. They usually come out in May, so they got this one out a little bit early. They're always really popular for summer reading. Typically, it'll have a ocean or beach or sand on the cover. It doesn't mean they're always light. This one has to do with a woman who gets called back to her family estate after the death of her father and finds out some shocking secrets. So get ready for more beach reads coming out in May. Popular authors such as Nancy Thayer, Mary Kay Andrews, Jennifer Weiner, Susan Mallory, they all have books that are going to be coming out in May. Next, we have one of our Reese Witherspoon book club picks for April, True Biz by Sarah Novick. This book is set at a school for the deaf and follows some of the different students that go there, also the headmistress. They all have different things that they're dealing with, and the students generally just want to be left alone to live their lives, and the headmistress is worried about the school being shut down. True Biz by Sarah Novick. This author is part of the deaf community, so this looks like it's going to be really good, and it's the Reese Witherspoon pick for the month. Next up, we'll have The Return of Faraz Ali by Amina Ahmad. This book is about a young man who gets summoned back to his birthplace by his powerful father, who installs him as the head of the police and charges him with covering up the violent death of a child. And Faraz decides that this is not right, regardless of what his father wants him to do, and he attempts to figure out what happened to the girl. This was reviewed in the New York Times this week. The reviewer described it as, more than just a mystery story. There's a lot in here about the culture of Pakistan, where the book takes place. It looks really good. This is just the kind of mystery I like. Has a lot of different things going on in it. And then the last fiction book I have here. Now, this is not released today. This is coming out next Tuesday. And Tuesday is the day that new books get released. It's called Probably Ruby by Lisa Bird Wilson. An Indigenous woman adopted by white parents goes in search of her identity. And this is a debut novel all about family, race, and history. And Ruby is métis. I'm not sure if that's the right way to say that word. This is a term used in Canada for a group that has combined Native American and European cultural practices, and the author is part of that community. And this looks like a really good book as well. And there's also some nonfiction that is new. We don't have these books on our shelves just yet, but they are coming soon. I want to start off with this one, Hello Molly by Molly Shannon. It's a memoir. You may know this comedian from TV and movies. Begins with a somewhat sad story, the death of her mother, younger sister, and cousin in a car accident in which herself and her father were also in. And she goes on to talk about how they dealt with that and how she became a comedian. Next is a little bit of a recent history book called Paradise Falls by Keith O'Brien. And this book talks about a bunch of mothers in what they thought was a nice neighborhood up near Niagara Falls. We may remember it being in the news as Love Canal. Their whole drinking water and neighborhood became polluted by a chemical company, and how they figured out what was going on and what they tried to do to stop it. They consider this event the birth of the modern environmental movement. So this seems like it'll be really interesting. And then finally, nonfiction coming out in April is a new biography of Jackie Robinson called True, The 4 Seasons of Jackie Robinson. Now, this book is a little bit different as a biography. There's been plenty of biographies written about Jackie Robinson. This one focuses on just 4 years of his life. 1946, when he played in the minors, 1949, when he was the Major League MVP, 1956, which was the final season that he played, and then 1972, the year that he died. So that looks like that's going to be a really good biography. And that is all. That's certainly not all the new books we have this week or this month, but that's all I'm going to talk about. If you want to get a sneak peek, I print these out each month with all books that are going to be coming out. I try to print it out at the end of the previous month. And we also have an email list you can sign up for new book news. Everything that is on the email and on this paper is in the catalog. So if you see a title you're interested in, you could put a hold on it and be one of the first ones to get it. And we're going to be hosting our new book bites again in May. It will be the first Tuesday in May. And we hope to see you there. Thank you.